I used to lead a 9-figure revenue business with over 100 employees. And now I'm vlogging, cycling on YouTube. When your wife tells you're going to be a father in like 8 months, you start to question things. When I'm going to be a father, I want to be as much as I can with my family and not go to the office 13 hours. But then you're having like a big, like multi-6-figure income. Why should you leave that? That half year now where I'm fully self-employed, I had some of the most depressing days in my life. Trust me, every creator, bro, we doubt ourselves like no other industry. On Christmas, my best mate said, "Oh, when is your new YouTube video coming out?" And that triggered me and my personal like vulnerability. And I did it. I was putting out 52 YouTube videos last year. I would say like 25 hours goes into an episode. And I think after 2 months, I was already at 10K subs on YouTube. How do I get better at this, at vlogging and stuff?
Yeah.
I feel like 2 answers on that is like photography. And then the second tip is to get better is I don't want to create something that people just watch when they're waiting for something or they're boring. I'm chatting to a lot of other creators and I feel like when they struggle, it's mostly because...
Hey guys, welcome back to Athco podcast. We have got a very exciting guest today, Gerrit Knein. And he's going to tell us all about cycling, Cape Town, Germany, how he ended up here, leaving a big corporate job for freelancing in another country. A lot of exciting things to chat about, and also a little bit more about behind the scenes, what goes into becoming a successful content creator, and how you maybe can implement some of his tips that he's learned over the years to make your social media journey even better. So welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Look very forward to the chat.
it's great to have you on because honestly, I feel like there's a lot of people that always speak about Instagram. I know you're also very active on Instagram.
Yeah.
But I mean, especially if people follow you for like quite a long time, actually, I feel like when it started for you to take off on YouTube, it actually started, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, with the Cape Town training series. So it's kind of like nice.
That was a good start. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for having me. Like, short sentence. I used to lead a 9-figure revenue business with over 100 employees. And now I'm vlogging, cycling on YouTube. Can sound like a downgrade to some. But for me, it's actually the first time I'm really building something for myself. And so very happy at the point where I am. But it led me through different phases in my life to be here now and do what I do. It's not always, I say it's not always, the grass is not always greener on the other side. Because, when I was quitting my corporate job, I was thinking now I can finally spend my days as I imagined them. And then you have such an identity crisis at one point where you're like, how do I want to spend my days if no one tells you what to do?
Right.
So it was not just always beautiful to go down that road. But I think that's how to grow, that you put yourself through things you haven't been through before.
Yeah.
So that's what we can talk about today, and definitely talk about Instagram content creation. I've been doing it on and off for like 10 years now.
Wow.
So I really started Instagram like 2017. And then I was doing it a lot. Then I stopped doing it because of a lawsuit and stuff. So we have some stories to tell.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I know there's a lot of, I feel like, I hope we can get everything in one podcast.
Yeah, let's try.
So take us back a little bit. You working a corporate job.
Yeah. So
tell us about that.
I was always telling myself that I want to build a family at one point. And I knew and I saw, everyone has dads around. My dad was always at home because he was an IT software engineer. So he was like working from home. He was always there for me a lot, watching every soccer game I had in my life, being at every competition in my life, taking me everywhere. So that was a role model for me about how much time he was there for the family. And then we all saw dads that haven't been at home, right? So I wanted to be the one being at home, or at least around enough for my kids that they know me, they spend time with me when they want to. Not like I'm begging them, but especially in the younger years, to be there and lead them and not make them be grown up by their teachers and stuff, but really grown up how I want them to be grown up. So I always had long-term vision in my life. So when I was 18, after school, I was like, when I build that family and I have the family, I don't want to be the slave in the system that gets told when to be at home. I want to be the one that decides how much I'm going to be home, what I'm doing in my life. So I figured that I have to do the homework then, being 18, being young. So I was looking down the road what options I had. my biggest passion was sports back then. So I was doing sports in school. I was playing professionally soccer my whole youth life, up until the first division. But I figured that there was like some points missing to be really like, this is going to be my job. So I was like, okay, let's go down another road. Let's not be the guy trying to be a professional soccer player still when you're 30. So I was studying business economics in a dual system, working 40 hours a day. Not a day, a week.
That's
Basically,
impressive.
basically.
Hey guys,
It felt
you heard
like-
it here first. To get ahead, work 40.
Work 40 hours a day. That's
Yeah,
how the
David
grind-
Goggins
yeah.
mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, you know the guy who's taking these clips and then he's like, no work, I work 80 hours a day. So, yeah.
That's soft. 40 hours only.
Soft.
No, 40 hours a week, starting when I was 18 after school. But then I had university, bachelor. I don't know, you have bachelor here as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Friday evening, Saturday full day. And then on Sunday I had soccer. So I was like full week, always never had time to party, to do the stuff you would do at that point in your life.
Yeah.
But I always knew that the fruits of the labor now will be there from my seeds, and that's what I was doing. So I was doing that for 4 years. When I was done with my bachelor, immediately went into my first like real job, because before that you were always the guy studying next to the work.
Yeah.
Even though I had some responsibilities, not as much as you could, obviously, because you had no work experience. And then I was working in corporate, but also did my master degree on the side. So like after work, didn't even tell my company, because I did not want them to say, we can't put responsibilities on him because he's studying on the side.
Yeah.
So I was doing that on my own, paying for my own, on a like remote kind of thing. I need to go there, like attend classes every 6 weeks. Everything else was home studies. And then I was done with my master degree when I was 24. So quite early, and also had like six years of work experience. So I had a good CV, I would say, for the corporate world.
Yeah.
I started in the company which I was leading after some years, as a marketing manager. So really down the line, like 30K salary, 30K euros is like 600K.
Yeah, rent.
So in
month.
Europe, it's not a year.
Okay, good. I was like,
So it's like not a lot in Europe. It's actually
Yeah.
low
Base,
salary
yeah.
after a bachelor degree. And everyone was telling me, when you want to grow in corporate, you should leave your job every 2 years, because the other company don't know your salary. So you can,
yeah.
argue a bit, and then get a better job and then go to the next company. And I never felt like this is the way I want to lead. I want to understand the company and what they do so much that I'm the guy. Like, I know my shit. I know the company so well
Yeah.
that no one can replace me in a second. So I was always trying to put a lot of effort in my corporate job, and then kind of led from one to another. Basically got a salary increase, a better job every year, kind of, because of things happening, like people leaving or me upgrading my skill set. And then on the side, after my master, I was working as an Instagram content creator. And that was a time where also companies were looking for people that had social media skills. So I took that, incorporated that into my corporate role, and that's how I kind of went into that corporate. We can talk about corporate a bit more,
Yeah.
but it was like, that's how I built my job. And I was when I was 28, I got the offer to be the managing director for the company. I didn't have stakes in the company, but I was leading the German subsidiary and opening the UK subsidiary at that point. When I took over, we had like 60 million revenue a year. So it was an old German company. And I brought some fresh blood into it, I would say. And when I left the company 4 years later, I was giving it away kind of with 120 million of yearly revenue. So I kind of doubled it in 4 years in my time there. So it was a very successful time. And then now it depends how deep you want to go into it. But that was kind of my life and my identity as well. Like, I was really seeing myself as someone leading a team, because I had over 100 employees to look out for. And my life was basically trying to find solutions to their problems, because every day there was something going on. And on mixing strategy work, but also like operational tasks from day-to-day basis, like parcels not going out, but then also thinking about the company. How does it look like in 5 years? What's the R&D going to be and stuff like that? So being a managing director, it's like everything, and it was a big company.
There's a lot that you have to think about. Your brain is always moving. There's always another problem. There's a lot of things to.
Yeah, you're never off, right?
You're never off.
Yeah.
And so, talk to me about the decision to leave that behind, and then rediscovering your identity in something completely different.
Yeah. So I mean, working in corporate, especially when you're in a management position, but it's not your company. There's always like someone that owns it, right? Private equity in this case. So it's not always aligning what you would do and what they think is right, because they have, for example, other goals. They want to sell the company in like 2 years.
Yeah.
And you want to build it in for like a decade. And so there were some misalignments just in how I would take decisions. And then, of course, it's frustrating when you're like the managing director. You feel like you decide things.
Yeah.
But you're not. You know, there's still someone that can put in a joker. And of course, then you start to question things. But I think it was just the timing that some of these things were happening, which is typical in corporate. I also, to be honest, earned good money in that time, because when you bring a company from 60 to 120 mil, if you're not super dumb and don't have bad contracts, you get some bonuses.
Yeah.
And then when you're not super dumb, you also would invest this kind of money and not waste it on Ferraris. So I built a financial base where I'm like, this is where I want to be, to then be free in the future to decide what I really want to do with my life. And then when your wife tells you, you're going to be a father in like 8 months or like 7 months, that's when she found out. We found out together. Then it's like you start to question things. And then all of this came kind of together, me asking myself, like, what do you want to do when he's going to be born?
Yeah.
And then I remembered myself, my 18-year-old Gerrit, thinking about, okay, when I'm going to be a father, I want to be as much as I can with my family and not go to the office 13 hours, because that's what my life looked like. I was heading out 7, coming back 9, and then doing emails at home. So, and that was my day-to-day basis. And of course, that's not how you envision your future.
Yeah.
But then you're having like a big, like multi-6-figure income. So you're like, everyone is dreaming of that, working towards it. Why should you leave that?
And you got there in your 20s, hey? Like
end of 20. I was like end of 20, like 30. So you really question yourself. Like, it's such a big comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to worry, your family don't need to worry, but you're still not really happy.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest to change. I mean, it sounds crazy to someone having like a way low salary than that, because they may work up to that. They want to be there. But when you're there, it's not like the destination is never the thing to make you happy. So there's always something that fucks up in your life and you're not happy about. And then it's either time or money. But finding a balance and then be happy in the middle, I think that's where a peaceful life can sit.
And did you forget in the middle, like obviously you said when your son was born, you remembered 18-year-old Gerrit.
Yeah.
In the middle, did you like kind of forget about that a little bit?
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It was funny because everyone I told that story, now when I'm going to be a dad, I'm going to head out, bro. Everyone was like, ha, you can't do that. You're workaholic since then,
Yeah.
Because we are routine guys,
Yeah.
And it's so used for us because it's our identity. When you work for something 13 hours a day, it's you. There's nothing much left in your life.
Yeah.
So to leave that and then remember what you said back then and not say, yeah, I said that back then, but now I can't leave what I worked for that so long, so many years, a decade. I can't leave that. That was like why it maybe took me even longer than it's now to be told. I think there was like a year maybe where I was thinking about this is not the right thing anymore. I want to be more flexible. I want to, because I knew we plan a family. But when it was actually there, then I kind of remembered it.
Yeah. So obviously like your son was mainly maybe the catalyst to make the decision. But how big of an impact did your YouTube growth maybe had?
It's funny. Yeah, it's funny because it was all at the same time. Like I started the YouTube channel occasionally. It's honestly like when we talk about content creation later, it's my 5th YouTube channel.
Wow.
Because I was always doing so many things in my life, but never fully committing to it, other than my corporate role. That was like, I was committed to it. I put my life into it, my whole energy. And I feel like that was the reason my all side projects were never fully successful. Like I had some years where I was doing great on Instagram, building it up to like 70K followers, work like earning money with it. But it was not like, it was always just when I had time left. And the corporate job was always first priority. And so I was doing YouTube for like soccer. I was then doing YouTube for like vlogging, just on my iPhone, regular life. But I never committed to it. And I feel like I was never consistent because of time issues, right? Everyone knows that. So it's my 5th YouTube channel. And I even started that when I was 30 because I wanted to get back into content creation. But I had no idea what I wanted to put out there. I was just starting it. And I was basically just doing videos when I was in New York. I was doing on vacation, some nice framings, nice music, but not real story. And then 1.5 years ago now, or one year actually, December 2024, on Christmas, my best mate said, "Oh, when is your new YouTube video coming out?" And that triggered me and my personal like vulnerability that I wasn't consistent yet again with my project so hard that I was saying, tomorrow, bro. It's funny you ask. And on the next day, I was training for a double ultra triathlon back then, so like a sport project. And on the next day, I had planned to do a 60K, like my first ultra run. And I just took the camera with me, bro. And that's a backstory of my YouTube channel now, that my best mate was kind of mocking me. And that's how I started the channel, because I was doing the video on the other day. I was committing to it then. And I had so much fun with it that I felt like, oh, this is what I want to do. I want to do sports, document it, and inspire people with doing some challenges, going out of the comfort zone, because running 60K was definitely not a pleasure.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the storyline of just me running in circles around the lake for like 5 hours and filming it in a way that I like from other niches like Casey Neistat back in the days, all the things. But incorporate that to the sports world, which I felt like was not seen back then, or not enough at least.
Yeah.
So and then I was like, oh, I really enjoyed to watch that video for myself. So uploaded it, and it actually went well. It was like just 4K views, but I had 100 subscribers. So that was like, oh, it seems like other people like it as well. And as it was, New Year, it was a perfect time to say, oh man, let's just do it once a week. I didn't really know what I was signing up for, because once a week, a YouTube video on like a cinematic level, I didn't know what I was saying there.
That's a lot.
Even a podcast is challenging once a week, and that's a lot less editing, I'll tell you that.
So I was still working, right?
Yeah.
I was still working.
True.
I was training for the double ultra triathlon, and I didn't know what I was saying back then. I was like, but now this time I'm really going to commit to it. So, and I did it. I was putting out 52 YouTube videos last year, which is a lot.
Wow.
And all high quality. That's the point too. It was not like just flipping on a camera, just documenting, throwing it in a timeline.
Right. Yeah. I would say like 25 hours goes into an episode. Yeah. So that's what I do weekly. And back then that was beside work.
So how are you working 13 hours a day, spending 25 hours?
I mean, to be honest, and I can say that now because I'm out of the corporate job, I was cutting down the corporate time.
Wow. Okay.
Fair.
Because I mean, that's what corporate is about as well. Sometimes you get paid, and even though, especially when you're with a company for a decade, like I was, if you're not answering the phone, no one would think of me editing a video. Everyone would think of I'm on a phone call for work.
Yeah.
And of course, when you think about leaving already, the last weeks that before that decision, it's kind of, you and people start to see it, of course, after some weeks. And I'm not proud of that, but that was reality, that I was shifting already in my mind about what I want to do in the future, and that this decision is going to be there. So of course, when you see another opportunity, or you enjoy something so much like I do the YouTube videos, I kind of shifted my time, even because I was quite autonomous. As when the numbers were right, no one really asked how my day looked like.
Right.
I just had responsibilities. People had calling me and stuff, and I was still taking care of that. I would never let my people down. But maybe I didn't. I was just doing the bare minimum, not putting the extra effort.
Right.
What I was doing the 10 years before, because I think effort is sexy, and in corporate world, bare minimum will never lead to climbing up the ladder.
Yeah.
You need to put effort. You shouldn't kiss asses. I mean, like think about how I was doing my corporate life and why I was doing so well in corporate and so young in such a position was because I always try to think of the decision makers above me. What issues do they have? And without them asking me, I was trying to find solutions. And that I was doing on top of my job.
Yeah.
And I think that's how to climb the corporate ladder. Because if, your employee comes to you and says, I know that you're struggling with the new project the board members want you to do. I made a short 3-slide pitch, how to solve it with my ideas. No one is like, bro, you're kissing my ass. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's more like, wow, this guy can go places. And then mixed with, the right skills and stuff. I think that's how to climb the corporate ladder. That's what I did. But of course, that part I left out and put into YouTube back then because I just had so much fun. And then I was very lucky. Like, I think 10 years of doing content on and off, sometimes posting it, sometimes not posting it, doing for myself. I feel like they led to such a skill set that when I was starting the videos, people were watching and then was like, that subscriber count doesn't match to the quality. So, and then maybe also luck. I think luck in life is very important.
Yeah.
Momentum. The first 5 videos, bro, they were popping off. It was like, second video, I did an FTP test, filming it. I put like really 30 hours into that, like how I filmed it, how I learned how to set up a studio light above me, not just filming the FTP test like everyone would do it, but go the extra mile, and got 40K views in like a week. So brought me like 2,000 subscribers with the second video. So I was like, wow.
Maybe there's something here.
Yeah, maybe YouTube, maybe I am working on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because before that, I would always say, I like to be behind the camera. I like to, take pictures. That's what I vibe.
Yeah.
I was doing street photography in my free time and stuff, but never thought of me chatting and actually bringing value on the camera. But I feel like then it kind of clicked in my head that I got a story to tell. I got a style that people want to watch in their free time on the TV. And I kept doing the videos that came into my head, doing the vlogs, and then, it lead to places. And I think after 2 months, I was already at 10K subs on YouTube.
That's interesting. I actually found you randomly on YouTube before we even had this podcast or even talked about it. And then Jannis was actually like, oh, you should check this guy Gerrit out. We should have him on the podcast. It was like end of last year when we were just like starting to think about this. And it's so great that you're actually sitting in front of us now because, but yeah, we both, I think, did you also find Gerrit on social media on YouTube or?
For me, it was funny because, we always coming here every year to Cape Town. So for me, the Cape Town video was the first one that hit the algorithm.
Last year.
Yeah. And also the same mindset that you explained, like when you watch a person and the subscriber count doesn't match the quality.
You want to follow, eh?
Yeah.
You want to be like, I was one of the first guys.
Yeah.
This guy is going to pop off.
Yeah.
I do that by myself, for others.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I watched your video. Also coming from a filmmaking background, I was like, this guy filmed this so nicely. I was like, flip. Also,
but that's funny. I don't have a filmmaking background.
Yeah, I know, but
it's
you,
I
could
was
totally
always doing photography. A lot of guys ask me on like that's one of the most asked questions. Like, how do I get better at this, at vlogging and stuff?
Yeah.
And I feel like my best 2 answers on that is like photography.
Yes.
I feel like it's a way to start videography because if you understand light and framing, what makes a good picture, the same as a video. The video is just a bit longer than a photo.
Exactly.
So I'm just trying to see what would I take a photo of, and then I let the frame live a bit longer. That's how I do my videos, and that's how I set up my tripod. And then the second tip is to get better is definitely film 10 minutes a day intentionally. Like, think about a frame get a frame from a movie you like.
Yeah.
And film that. And then the next day you do another. It won't lead you to places in a week, but it will lead you to places in a month. And that it's all long-term and patience. No skill that you really own it comes overnight.
And I think obviously you've got a mindset of like, okay, I'm going to put in the work. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right. You can
Nothing
see that
in life comes for free.
But I suppose there's a difference between someone who's just documenting something and someone who's like making art of the process. And that's the one thing that I think your videos spoke to me about. I was like, okay, this guy's gone for a ride on his bicycle, but he's made art of that ride. You know, that I see your videos as like actually like an art form. That's how I genuinely see it. Whereas like other person, like GoPro on your forehead and you ride, and like you got bad audio and stuff, and you know you've been intentional about your shot choice, you've been intentional about your color grade, you've been intentional about like a bunch of things, and the creative process. Like that's why when I saw your video, I was like, this is super cool, and then like I subscribed maybe like after that first video, and then.
But it's funny you say, because for me it's also pressure, because I sometimes would love to document more, but I feel I don't want to, go below that level now for my audience. And I think sometimes I just should document more. I mean, we all know document, don't create. I feel like sometimes I try to create a story when it's even not there. And I should just, because I don't want to be the guy, yo, it's 7 o'clock, we do this, and then we do this kind of vlog. I want to put a meaning behind it. Let someone, take something for their life. Not just watch me because he's bored. And he actually learned something for his life or get inspired to do something, not chill on the couch, whatever it is. Everyone, I can't do that for them. Everyone watches the content for themselves. No one watches for me or because he loves me. I feel like even, especially with lifestyle vlogging, the natural emotion someone has watching your content is envy. Not in a bad way, but you watch someone lifestyle vlogging mostly because you want to live his life. You're maybe not happy with yours.
Maybe very aspirational. Maybe.
Right, aspirational part of content. And that pressures me what you say sometimes, that I need to top the last video. And that's not always the easiest. Sometimes I think I need to go out and document even more. Maybe I could put out another video a month when I just fucking raw dog it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like different videos or different styles of videos for different things. I mean, like personally, too cinematic too often for me gets boring, because I'm like, this is cinematic. I've seen this video before. It also looked cool, but there's not a lot of like personality
or substance
and substance. So like, I think what will get someone to subscribe is maybe the cinematics, but what will get them to stay and be engaged is maybe your personality. So like to document and like talk things through, I think that's also super powerful, maybe more powerful than the cinematics, but cinematics as a base is cool. And
that's why YouTube and podcasts are so great, because the deep connection you build with people is amazing. When I met people and they watched my content, really watched it, they feel like they know me, and I do have the same feeling with people I really watch along. I when I would meet them, I would be like, whoa, and he would be like, who are you?
But was it an intentional decision you made, because you said you did Instagram before?
I hate Instagram, honestly. First 8 months of me doing YouTube, my best creative friend Zaza from Germany.
Zaza, I listened to their podcast.
He has a podcast with Kim, right?
Yeah.
He screams at me every week. We do a call, like a accountability call. He screams at me like, "You neglecting Instagram," and that's where the brands are and all this stuff. But I'm like, I don't need it. I need to do a lot of brand deals, blah blah, because of my situation. Because I think closing Instagram, when you're done with it, right? You'll feel so bad, bro.
Yeah.
You kind of waste it. I feel like my eyes are hurting when I'm done with my reels. And that's just not what I want to give and support, kind of.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, it's part of the business being a creator. Yeah. It's like the main platform. People, it's quick. And I don't want to create something that people just watch when they're waiting for something or they're boring. I want to create something where people click on because they decide so, and then they consume it because they feel like it's a good thing for them. And I want to build a legacy and not build something of viral trends that, just increase a number so I can get more money from bands. But it's not really changing anyone's life. And when I started YouTube, I always said, if one person in a month, for example, when I was doing more sports, is like, especially when I became a dad. So a lot of my friends becoming a dad got into the worst shape of their lives. And I get it now because I'm actually not in the best shape of my life yet. But I always said to myself, if just one dad in a month, it's just one evening in a week, not sitting on the couch watching Netflix, but rather going like on a chilled run or whatever, I did my job. And that number, of course, is now way higher than I expected it to be. But that, I'm happy if this is what it leads to.
Yeah.
And on Instagram, it's so much harder to get someone do something because what they do after watching your content is scroll to the next one. And I feel like when you close YouTube, you never feel shitty about yourself. Mostly, I mean, it depends on the algorithm, right? But I feel most of us, we watch things that Netflix can't give us, Instagram can't give us. And that's why I love YouTube.
Yeah.
So it was a very, very, choice. It was a choice by myself that I wanted to be on there. And I feel like everyone has a medium where I think they wanna put out content, but for me it's definitely YouTube. And Instagram now is more like, I try to go with the flow. But this year I kind of concentrated so far on it, which led to like growth of 7K followers just in the last 5 weeks because I was really concentrating on my Instagram because I feel like YouTube, I got my flow now, I know what I do. And then I was like, what if with the lowest effort possible in my life without making me miserable, how can I build my Instagram to a point that it also kind of stands for my work and my legacy.
I feel like you also, speaking of the workflow, you found like your own style for Instagram.
Yeah.
Is there like anything maybe you could say to people, like, because one thing that is refreshing, what you also said, you want people to feel something or like actually like don't want them just to be bored and that's why they watch it. But is there anything you could give to people how to find their style maybe?
By trying out various content types. I'm chatting to a lot of other creators and I feel like when they struggle, it's mostly because they are not trying out various content types.
Right.
So, and I feel like Instagram's, and actually I think the best creator tool that has ever been out there in the whole world and someone ever done. And that's why I also come back to Instagram, because I think Mosseri is doing a great job being a CEO of Instagram. He did the trial reel thing, or not but they did the trial reel thing.
They're so cool.
And that's when I started to get back to Instagram.
Oh.
Because I felt like when you have a lot of following already, and I had like, when I was starting Instagram back then, I was like at 65K, we're still left from my old fashion Instagram. So much we can't talk about today. But
well, we can see you got cool style.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Dad fit now, yeah. So I still had some followers left, and I felt like I don't want to try out stuff on such a big audience, even though many inactive ones. And I feel like trial reels led me to the point where I was like, wow, the people seeing it, they don't know me, they never see me. Because for everyone not knowing it, trial reels is a function where you can post reels and Instagram will not show it to your followers, but just to people that don't know your account, never watched your account. And this means you can try out various things without you having anxious feelings about who's seeing it, like your neighbor or whatever. If he follows you, he's definitely not going to see it. And that led me to just posting things. I was just posting, man, on the trial reels, like, and that's how I found what I like to build, what type of content am I quick am. Because for example, for me, it's like I film so much frames for YouTube, I can really easily repurpose them to reels on cool sounds or whatever. So I was doing that a lot, but then I was also just doing iPhone things on there, talking to things, whatever. I just figured it out, and then obviously you get feedback from Instagram via KPIs.
Yes.
If this content is clicking with audience or not. And then you can mix it with your own feelings. And then I think it's the greatest tool ever to try out yourself. And if you don't have an audience, everything is a trial. Like just post it and figure out on the way. But I feel like if you're anxious that your current following is not happy with the content you put out there, or you don't want to, that's a perfect tool to just try out. And especially right now, I mean, the Yap content is so trendy right now.
You're the second person today already saying this. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I watched this guy, Higher Up Wellness.
Higher Up Wellness.
Yeah, he's having, I think it's at 800K now. He has reels with like 8 million to 10 million views, where he's just chatting on the front camera to the phone. And that makes me, of course, think, because when I think I need to put out something, I always grab my cinema camera.
Yeah.
And then I feel like, yeah, but the message is not getting better by that. It's even distracting that the image is beautiful when it's just to the core of the message. You just want to put out a 10-second rant of something you
Yes.
thought of. And I feel like that's such a great time of content creators that are about to be born, because the right now with all the AI slop, I think people just want to have real connections.
Yeah.
And if you care about something, like you guys, you could just chat about in the front camera about 30 seconds about your feelings doing a podcast, and other people might resonate. They also do a podcast, and then you kind of build your base around it. I feel like it's the greatest time ever to just talk about your passions, like you would to a friend, but post it on trial reels or reels and just see where it leads. You don't need to do crazy edits about it. And I feel like if you're not doing content now, when would you ever start doing it?
Yeah, I mean, we got into content kind of like from the perspective of, I'm a photographer for a hotel company, and my job is it's a cool job as jobs go, as a corporate jobs go in South Africa. It pays decently well, it's secure, but like you said, I'm not building anything for myself. I'm building for someone else. And I also just saw so many people building brands, building personal brands, social media, and the amount of opportunities that come from that. Not necessarily all monetary, just opportunities, people you meet, friends you make. Like, there's just so much value there. And I've been kind of following these influencers and wanted to be in content since Casey Neistat, pretty much as well. He was one of my big inspirations. And I was chatting to Jannis. He was in Germany at the time. We were having a phone call. We know each other from a trip he did down here about 2 years ago. And I was like, what if we started something like a production company or a podcast or something in this environment, in like sports and stuff, because we're both into like running and high rocks and that sort of thing. And we just talked to people, got to know them, and asked people about how do you do content? Because we both had pages, but we didn't know like, what's the formula? What's the secret? How do you actually do this for real? And there are people like yourself and other people we've had on who've actually made it a living, made it a income for them, and they're living their dreams. They're exploring the world. They're doing like crazy races and crazy events and meeting so many cool people through the power of social media, and just got us thinking, it's such a powerful tool. How can you actually get the most from it, And like, I mean, maybe you can speak a bit more to what social media has done in your life.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gives me a time freedom. Like, I think that's what, especially our generation, and you guys are younger than me. I'm the pup today. I mean, that's what we look for. We don't look to be slaves anymore. I think we kind of woke up all after COVID and stuff that we don't want to, at least not forever. I feel like I don't want to bash on corporate jobs, especially going to an office, because that's the reality of maybe a lot of listeners. And I've been doing it for a decade, and I don't want to bash my 20s as well. But of course, I think we all look at it a bit differently now. And I think that's what a lot of corporates also have to face, that people want to have different kind of working relationships now, where they can maybe work at least a month a year remotely or whatever. And so many great things also happen with like Teams meetings. Not always a blessing, but I want to get to the point, is that I feel like the time freedom now is definitely the greatest blessing I got from being a content creator now, which doesn't mean I don't have deadlines, because when you want to earn money, you have contracts, right? And the first year I was not doing any because like I said, I'm in a financial position due to my corporate life, so that's also good upside and argument for it, that I don't need to make every deal happening now, even though I'm fully self-employed now.
Yeah.
Because I did my investments, I did my things, that I have a good buffer that I could, easily just put out videos and not care about the deals. But on the other side, of course, I'm not done, but I'm having like 6 to 7 million impressions, like views monthly on Instagram. I'm having 1.5 million YouTube views a year, and which is like 20 million impressions. I know that a lot the brands I'm wearing, the brands I'm using are seen. And as I'm a businessman, I know that it would be stupid not to be like getting money for wearing some stuff, or like riding a bike for someone, without me selling my audience like, oh, you need to get this because it's so cool, and this is a code here, push marketing. Never doing that. If a company wants me to do push marketing, I'm saying no. It's like that you can't get that from me. You can just get branding. So like if I really like the product, I either used it before, bought it by myself, or I can see myself I'm testing it out.
Yeah.
That's the only thing how to get a deal with me, that I say, okay, I can build the brand with you. I can make it cooler. I can make it for my audience, whatever. But coming back to the question, you need to remind me. Sorry, bro.
No, I said I was just asking you what has social media done in your
my life. That I can now wake up every day and decide what I do. So, and that's the biggest blessing. But it led me to a big identity crisis as well here in South Africa. Because,
tell us about that. When did you come down here?
I feel like especially when you know that I've been working so much, it's part of your life without you knowing it. And it's so funny because when you're in the job, you think, I'm resigning tomorrow. I never think of this fucking company again. I don't think about my colleagues. Fuck all of them. I go out here, I spend my day riding the bike and I'm happy. But when you did something for a decade, it's so much part of you that it's so deeply incorporated into your soul. Like especially the politics, the feeling of being needed. All those things were immediately away in my life. Like my job was like done. I got, when we decided to not keep on working together, I was immediately let go like day after. And at first I was happy. I was like doing my things. Finally, I could spend every day like I wanted to. But then the payback came that I was so used to it, to the feelings I had being needed, looking onto my phone, having like 300 emails a day, now down to 3, which was spam emails or any offers.
Yeah. It
kind of makes something to you. And it's hard to just be happy about it, even though I know I should be happy about it. It kind of, there was a hole in my life where I was trying to fill it then with anything else, but not really sitting down and thinking about my identity. Like, because it's easy to say you got your whole day free, kind of. You want to build something, but how to balance it? Because my corporate job was always my structure. It was like my meetings were my structure, and I built my life around it, my private life, my sport life, everything. And now I could decide for myself. And then you need to learn to say no, all those things. I don't want to go like very deep dive into it, but I kind of needed to reinvent myself, what kind of person I want to be, because I couldn't be a leader anymore in a personal like manner. Online, yes, due to video, but it's not as real as when I was leading people. I think the best, what someone was telling me was like, man, that sentence you said yesterday changed the way I think. That's where I grew my energy from. Leading people, developing people, especially young people, because I want to be the leader for them that I never had. So when that was away, I was like, there was missing something. And then you get into the feeling of trying to fill that up with other things, And I think that's an important step I needed to take, because now I could never envision myself being back in the office.
Yeah.
Because that when you once tasted that freedom, I think, especially having a family, being a dad, it's impossible to go back. Because if my son is having baby swim at 2, that's my appointment, bro. That's where I'm at. Now it's doing my wife, and it's the 1 hour I do for myself. But you get it. So when my wife wants to go to tennis, I'm happy to watch that with my kid. That's what we do, like 3 days a week.
Sick.
And that's so sick, man. It's so sick. That's what social media is doing for me. That I now coming home later, they will be asleep. I'm going to grind. I'm going to edit on the laptop. I'm very happy to do so.
Let's go.
But tomorrow morning, I wake up at 6, do my ride, be home at 9, take the kid, watch my wife playing tennis. And that's social media.
You can be a better husband. You can be a better father. And that's, I mean,
and long term, that's definitely the way to be happy.
Yeah.
And to have a happy marriage, to have a kid looking up to you, not saying wishing on Christmas.
Yeah.
Next year, I would hope to be dad, being home more.
Yeah.
And you being physically fit, mentally fit. And still, it's not always grass green on the other side.
Yeah.
That half year now where I'm fully self-employed, I had some of the most depressing days in my life. And that's the crazy thing about it. But growth is not happening staying the same. So when you change, it's hard for your body, for your mental state to accept that you changed, and identity changes and stuff.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about like how Cape Town played a factor in that. You came down here. When was the first time you did a trip down here, and how did that play into?
I think it's my 10th time now.
Your 10th?
Yeah, because from the old job,
Yeah.
seasonally, the easiest for me to go off was winter in Europe.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know, summer we did a lot of events and stuff. So I was never really having a good time to go off. So like Xmas and New Year's, I was always going to Cape Town, or in Feb, like February was also a good month. So it was great months. And I was like, I don't want to go skiing. So I was like, where do we go? So we tried various things like Mexico, all the things, traveled a lot in the world, but Cape Town was always the place where I felt the most drawn to. So I was coming the first time, 2016, I think. And then basically every year since then. And when we thought of me being flexible now with where I work, what I work, I thought, yeah, we both thought this is where we see ourselves spending our time. That's where we've always been happy, and we would just want to also make the experience to grow as a family.
Yeah.
Because both my wife and I, even though she studied abroad and stuff, we were always been in the same place in Germany. Like we grew up 10 kilometers from each other, so we have the kind of same family background and stuff. And I think it's also important when you build a family like we do right now to get your own values, not just the ones from your parents. And
Right.
it's way easier when you just move away 13,000 kilometers. Not saying we wanted to move away from our parents.
Yeah.
Very happy that they visited and stuff. But yeah, we also want to re-question how we live our lives as a family, how we want to, sit down to dinner, all this stuff. What routines do we want to have? Where do we say we don't want to have that? And I feel that Cape Town played a big role. I mean, we live an hour outside of Cape Town, very chilled place.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, why it was initially, why be in Europe winter when we don't need to be?
Right.
My wife is a doctor, a gynecologist, and on parental leave right now. So we're like, okay, we can buy everywhere in the world. Where would it be? And then was kind of Cape Town the answer to that.
Cape Town was the answer for that.
Do you feel like also Cape Town was like not just nice for you as a family to reset, but also obviously it's a nice place for like cycling content? Yeah.
I think that played like a bit in my head. Yeah, especially because the Cape Town videos, just for you to know, like when I was, it was like video 6 to 12, I would say. And these videos were like my favorite videos I ever did on YouTube. My wife was pregnant. We were just filming and having fun. I was doing sports. I was training for the double ultra. And I feel like for a lot of guys on the channel, also for me, that felt like the real start of my YouTube. Yeah. So of course, I think at least in the back head, it was like a thing that drew me to Cape Town, that I wanted to go back. And it's definitely easier to do content here, especially cycling, than do that in snow. So that was part of it. But I think you would never put your kid and stuff down there if this is just the thing.
Right.
I think Cape Town in South Africa, especially the culture, was always the thing that drew us here, that people are just way less complaining than Germans are.
Yeah, that's actually very true. I can second
really
that. But
yeah.
I think maybe the culture here is, it is how it is. You have to accept a lot of things that don't work, that are broken, that are like not working the way you want them to work. So you kind of just, there's an expression in Afrikaans, 'n boer maak 'n plan, which is a farmer makes a plan. And that's kind of been the whole, like the foundation of this country is built on the fact that most of the country for most of its history has been out on the frontier, and there's no one's coming to help you when you're out there by yourself in the bush and you have to make a plan. And I think that's kind of like, even now in modern culture, it's trickled down. It's like, no one's coming to help you. You just got to make a plan. And I think that's why people don't complain, because you make a plan.
Yeah, they don't make their lives around the complaining side and the identity around it.
How has, you said you wanted to shake up the way you see things by traveling. How has South Africa specifically shaken up the way you maybe see life? Is anything that you've brought into your life or your way of thinking that's been influenced by being here?
Yeah. 100%, bro. It's definitely, I think Europe, when you grow up in Europe, a lot of things you take for granted, people would dream of here. It was funny because my kid is very healthy. Like, he was never sick at all, but he had a minor thing, not very important what it is, but something asymmetric. And in Germany, we were getting stress a lot from the doctors, the nurses, like everyone, the physiotherapist, that we need to take care of that and so. And then when we told them we were going to go here, they're like, "Oh wow, you need to find someone that helps you with that." We were coming here, chatting to like a very good doctor, and she was looking at us like, "I don't have any energy here to think about this problem because it's a first world problem." And it's such a good example that I feel more South African sometimes as German when I meet Germans here now, that I think it's a way of looking at life logically, not just by rules and stuff. Like here, if it's so hard to say, but if you're like, I don't want to talk about something illegal, but let's say you're driving to the coffee stop with your car, right?
Yeah.
And it's just 100 meters, and you might not take your seatbelt on,
Yeah.
right? You just go home. It's your own safety, right?
Yeah.
You can't harm anyone. Obviously,
Yeah.
when you drive a car, you can harm someone, but
Yes.
not in this case. In Germany, if a policeman sees you, bro, he would be like finding your ass, right? Here, I would think that they have other problems to take care
Yeah.
of. And I'm not saying that this is a good thing. I'm just saying sometimes I feel like South Africa is a bit more logically than in Germany. It's just, oh no, it is because it is that way.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
a rule. That's why you need to follow the rule, even though it doesn't make
and,
sense.
Yeah.
And especially the complaining side, you say. I feel like people, even though they have way less, they don't make the identity about it. They make the identity about the things they have. And I feel like not Germans, I don't want to bash Germans, but like in Europe, it's sometimes the opposite. Yeah. You make your identity about the things you don't have. And I like to be the other guy. Mm-hmm. And I know how lucky I am to be born where I was born, to live the life. Even though I worked for it, I'm still incredibly privileged and lucky. And sometimes I'm even asking myself if I'm allowed to share it, because I know that some people are looking at it like, yeah, you had it easy in life. I did not have, and I feel like, of course, that's not the right mindset, but still they have a point. When I'm living in a house they can never imagine. I'm having a hard time to film it because I don't want to make someone miserable looking at my life. Yeah. Even though I worked for it as much as I could, and I grew up in a family. No one was into university before. When I was 18, I had $0 on my bank account. So it's not like I got something, but still I had easier, I could afford a camera. Yeah. Some people can't. So I'm like, but if you make your life about that, you will never be happy, right? So I just try to make the best out of it, being good. And I feel like South Africa is a good example for that. The people, the culture, the people I met. But of course, it's just a part of South Africa. I mean, I've been around in South Africa, but not as much as I should to really talk about it. Like, it's just a tiny part of the country. Yeah. And that's why I don't feel very comfortable to talk, more about that. But that's what we take as a family. And sometimes I have days as well where, I don't want to be the German being in South Africa, like a lot of guys. I mean, it's that way. It's
true. It's so true.
But on the other side, I just today I met someone on Chapman Speak. He was from America. I told you earlier. Yes. He was going here for his birthday with his wife. He was like 45 years old, very successful guy. And he brought the bike just because of my videos. 1 week before he went, he saw the videos. He was adding his bike. His wife was like, "What are you doing?" Because of the videos. And then I understand that I also do something for the country with my videos. For the tourism. This is part of South Africa, is tourism. Yeah. It brings money. I pay rent to a South African person and whatever. So it brings money to the country. And also with my videos where I talk about mostly good sides of South Africa, because I can't talk about, the other things. I feel like it also helps at one point to make people think as good as about South Africa as it deserves to be seen, Yeah. And I feel like that's still a very big misconception, coming here, that it's so dangerous and stuff. And it is, when you do dumb things. Yeah, when you do dumb things. Or you're unlucky. But I feel like Europe is not the safest anymore as well. So it's like,
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm sure you've talked about this in your videos as well. If you are in the right places with the right people at the right time of day, it's like really safe.
Yeah.
You know, if you took your bike and you cycled through the Cape Flats at night, then you're
Yeah.
asking for trouble. But if you're
Right.
on Chapman's Peak and you're with a group of people, it's as safe as anywhere else.
And
Really.
I feel like after 5 months now, I'm allowed to talk about these things as well. Because in the beginning, I wasn't feeling comfortable, talking to locals about it. I was putting out a video quite early, how safe is Cape Town? Because that's a question I always get. And then under the video, locals were debating.
Yeah.
For example, every day I ride at Massey, which is in the deep south after Northhook, when you go to Komiki, Scarborough, or whatever.
Yeah.
And there were comments like, oh, I don't want to have a flat in Massey on the strip because then you get marked 100%. I ride there for 5 months. I had some flats in that road. And I swear to God, if I would ask someone with a pickup, he would bring me home.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like even locals can be wrong.
Yeah, I think a lot of the
Because
time.
when you want to look at people in a way, you look at people in a way. And of course, you can be unlucky in Massey, but I ride there every day, and I feel like there are some. Yeah, it's not always that a local must be more right than because I had the flats now at Massey and never had an issue. Could be in another day, but people helped me. That's why I feel like it's a big debate, but it's hard to find an answer on.
I think also a lot of people haven't been there and haven't done that. Like, just because you're South African, maybe on the other side of the country, or like even if you're in Cape Town, I know from my personal experience, a lot of people, like, they'll view like a poorer community, like a township or just a lower income area, as inherently dangerous. And it does have a higher possibility of crime, but like 99% of the people in there are just like normal people living their lives, going to work, working hard. And odds are you're going to encounter one of those people driving past in their bucky and not one of the bad people. There's probably more chance of bad people being there as well. But like, there's a higher chance of you.
I also believe in give and take in life. Like, for example, when we're always in the same coffee place and the guys living like 20 kilometers down the road, they always need to hope for transport. Of course, I take them home. But I know that the owner of the coffee place not take them home. Even though they ride at the same place. And that's, I don't get this, but I feel like that's South African, mentality sometimes that, and I just see every person the same. So when he needs to go home and he needs to wait for an hour for the transport, of course I bring him. And I don't get why the owner is not doing it.
Yeah.
And it hurts to see, but I feel like that's a reality as well.
Yeah, I mean, that is a reality. I think enough South Africans have heard horror stories of doing that, and then you get like killed or something that's happened. That kind of stuff.
I've heard the negative stories.
You do hear that. I think the thing is, like, here's an example. Like maybe like 2 weeks ago, I was driving home from somewhere, and it was after 12. It was like maybe 12:30 in the night, and I saw this woman, and we were on like a chat the M3 Philip Kasanga drive up against the mountain, and this lady, like, out of the darkness comes and she's like waving me down, trying to stop me. And she looked in distress, and I was like, I know people who've stopped, and then like 10 guys get out of the bushes, and then you get robbed, your car gets stolen, you get killed, like X, Y, and Z. I've heard stories like that happening, but I was like, she also does look in trouble, and I don't want to just leave this girl. So I phoned the police. I was like, hey, can you send someone up there? This lady looks like she's in trouble. And so I think there's a way of like, you can help without putting yourself in danger, but it's a tricky situation. Cape Town's safer than most places in South Africa, or the nice parts at least. But like, so many people have had stuff like that happen to them that they're like, I just can't risk it, And then you drive past a situation like that, or you drive past a situation where you could lift someone home, or you could stop for someone on the side of the road, and you kind of want to, and it hurts, but you're like, also, you've heard stories of that happening. So you're like, do I risk my life or not? And then oftentimes you don't, but then you're not a good person as well. And that's the trade-off.
All comes down to gut feeling and trying to do the right thing, man, being the better person. But there's not an easy answer to that.
There isn't. It's a complicated.
But also at the same time,
scenario.
it comes back to the thing you said earlier. Also, one big reason why you guys came here is like, so your experience get outside of the values that you're exposed, giving maybe something to your kid one day. And I mean, I feel like that's also quite the nice thing, just putting yourself in an uncomfortable position. I mean, you basically decided to leave like a very well-paying job, a very secure job for pursuing like a YouTube channel, YouTube career while becoming a father.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you said it was more of a longer process, but was there ever a moment where it really made like, damn, this can actually be, the YouTube channel can actually really be something I can make my living from?
I feel like it was after Cape Town last year because I enjoyed the videos so much. I still love to watch them. I honestly, when I have a bad day, I'm just watching my old videos
Sick.
to remember how good I am. Sounds very arrogant, but trust me, every creator, bro, we doubt ourselves like no other industry. Because it's always someone you think it's better, even though it's very subjective.
Yeah.
So self-doubt is the harder thing about being a content creator. I don't think there's a single industry that you need to accept so much self-doubt. And whoever I talk to, having the same issues. Like yesterday, I was watching for the first time since 2 months. I was watching YouTube content on my own, like my favorite creators. I was watching Daniel Simmons. He's like doing New York, London diaries, fashion, blah, blah. It's a completely different niche. I like to watch his vlogs. He sits down in Central Park having, I don't know, 400K subscribers, asking his audience if his content is too repetitive. And my wife looks at me like, what the fuck, guys? Do you all have the same issues? And he had 40K views after 24 hours on his vlog. And I'm like, why are you questioning what you do?
Yeah.
And the comments, of course, were like, no, it's my bread and butter to see you doing the same things and blah, blah, blah. Of course, but yourself, you always question that. That's why I rewatch my videos.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, why am I not doing this style like I have? But of course, things develop. But I feel like after Cape Town last year, when I was at, I don't know, between 10 to 15,000 subscribers, my first videos around 50K views with just regular me day in a life vlogs.
Yeah.
I feel like I was figuring that this is actually something people want to see. And me being a businessman for my whole life, like I was selling, when I had a break in school, it was a hot day, I was going to the supermarket, buying ice cream, selling it in school. Like I knew that obviously being in content and knowing about the industry, that I knew I can sell. At one point, I always thought that I'm going to do a personal brand on it, a brand on the personal brand. Like we all know it, like BPN and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I also figured that I don't want to deal with physical or digital products, customer service, returns, all the things. I just want to make videos right now. Could happen and change in a year if the right opportunity comes up, because it's cool to create stuff people want to wear and stuff. But I don't want to be the next sunglass guy just because I found a cheap producer in China. And I know that people would buy it just because they want to buy something off me.
Yeah.
So I rather do the classic way. And for me, like, for example, my biggest, then I the first brand questions came in at the same time, oh, could you envision yourself doing this for us and that for us? We like your content. People watching your content, you would never imagine, you could never think of watching your content. Like persons you looked up to, other creators that send you messages or stuff. So, and that was the point where I was like, okay, this can be my living. And I think I never allowed myself to think about me being a YouTuber, because I always thought I'm someone else. And I mean, it's not like I woke up when I was younger and I'm going to be a YouTuber and that's what I do. It kind of led to the way how life worked its way. And that was the point. But I think it can be a different situation to others. You can decide that for yourself even before the point happened that you had seen some success. But I would never suggest someone without knowing that you actually want to do it to quit the job and just do it. I feel like it's so easy to do these things on the side when you cut out unnecessary shit, like going out, watching Netflix and stuff. We all know these things and talks. Just build something like 3 hours a week even, or 30 minutes a day. Is a lot of time when you compound it. And I feel like compound growth is very underestimated when it comes to stocks and investments.
Yeah.
Like everything in life, we look so short term, especially us now being very short minded with reels and stuff. I feel like if you look at it on the biggest, I was ready when I started YouTube, and I'm still am, to do it for a decade. And I knew that when I put out a video every week for a decade, there is no way it won't work.
Yeah.
But if you look, to happen shit in like, and I was lucky that it worked so quick.
Yeah.
But we're still talking about 27,000 subs on YouTube. It's not that big, bro. It's like, it can be 2 mil.
Yeah.
There is the audience for
Yeah.
that. Like, I'm speaking in English. A lot of guys are dads. A lot of guys want to do sports. There's so much more room to grow. So I'm not done. But I'm here to do it for a long period in my life. So I don't rush it. I don't try to do videos I'm not happy to watch and rewatch in a year. I may not do the video again, but I want to be proud when I watch it. And that's only these videos get shipped. So it's not that I delete videos, but I know now that I would never do a video just to do the video. And because I hope something more out of it. I really want to do videos I enjoy watching for myself. And honestly, also, you start thinking, my son is proud watching in 10 years. And he's not cringing. He will cringe, of course, but not like, Dad, what the fuck?
Yeah.
More like, it's my dad, not cool, but
Yeah.
cool video, bro.
Can't believe my dad was wearing those glasses. That's so lame.
Yeah. And
Should
then at
probably
one
will
point,
be
he
in 10 years,
will get it. That's why I also don't show him like with his face. Because, I mean, he has to decide.
Of course.
But he's of course part of the videos because he's part of my life.
Yeah. That's a similar mentality we're taking to the podcast. Jannis was like, Dan, if we post a podcast every week for this whole year, and we get cool people on and just keep posting, it can't not work.
Right.
That's what he says. I don't know if I believe him, but like,
I mean, it's like you said, compounded. Like, I think you're totally right with people thinking too short term. So I actually think there's also another question I had for you. Like, for me, it's called the CEO mindset. So you're thinking in 18 months or like even 3 years.
Yeah.
So do you feel like there's a lot of certain skills and aspects you took over from the corporate world that
100%.
really help you a lot now?
100% strategic thinking.
Yeah.
I feel like, I had to lead. I had to lead a business. So, of course, and that's a part of corporate I didn't like, was it was way less strategic than you think. Because when the numbers are not good, everyone loses their shit. And then it was SOS meetings.
Yeah.
What can we do now to solve it? We can't. We can solve it in 12 months maybe. And that's not the answer the owners, the private equity company want to hear. They want to hear what we do next week, that the figures look better. But long-term branding, etc., all the things, they won't work overnight unless you're very lucky. So especially you guys as well, like if you don't believe in it and you don't trust the process and you don't enjoy the process, it's no way to make this work. But if you actually don't care about how many views you get and you just enjoy yourself doing it, like everyone doing content out there, and you just really do what you do there for yourself, then that's the only way to stay consistent.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you will always be the slave of the algorithms.
Yeah. I think like I'm loving the process. It's hard, but like it's hard in like a great way. Like working out is hard. It's like put in extra effort, but slowly start to see the benefits and the results coming through and that sort of stuff. And we're learning as we go as well.
I mean, I swear this helps, but it should not be a single benefit for it.
Yeah.
Like I love the book from Rick Rubin called Creative Act. Rick Rubin is like a producer for music for Kanye West and all the stuff he did. Like he looks very crazy. Was a lot of on podcasts as well. And I know the only thing I really remember is that he just concentrates on the output, not on the outcome, because he cannot fucking control. And if you focus on the outcome, and that makes you happy, you're relying on an external factor you can control. And why would you even produce music just for the sake of others liking it? Music is producing something you like and enjoy, being in the moment. And same as content, same as podcast, same as writing a book. Write it for yourself, do it for yourself. And just focus on the repetition and the output. Like me deciding once a week was the thing I wanted to do, like you decide as well. because if you concentrate on the outcome, you can just be miserable.
Yeah, that's so good.
I also like, I mean, one last thing that's really, I think it fits in very nicely. You said, if you just create because of like views or likes or whatever, you're always going to be a slave to the algorithm. So
And we all are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny because when I discuss about AI taking
Yeah.
our content creator jobs and stuff, I'm like, aren't we already robots just trying to make an algorithm, a computer program happy?
Yeah.
And we're just a medium of it. Aren't we just sitting there and thinking, how can I make the computer program, the algorithm happy so other persons see it on their phones? Aren't we like, where is the difference to an AI doing it
We're part of
in
the
the
machine.
future? So we're like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like I try to be, of course, everyone is in that slave.
Yeah.
I mean, slave is maybe not the right word, but in the pothole of trying to solve the algorithm, and because it's nice, it makes us feel good.
yeah,
And that's why a lot of people get drawn to Instagram as well instead of YouTube, because this is long term. YouTube is like, it's hard to build it overnight, but Instagram you can be very lucky, and virality and stuff can happen way easier. So I feel like and you get at least some messages, some likes. But YouTube, you do like 20 hours of work and you get like 20 views.
Yeah.
Fucking sucks.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, if you do it for the output and for the sake of creating, you don't care about it.
Can you talk a little bit more about like the business side of content creation? Because obviously we're getting into this to learn, but then also to help other people.
Yeah.
And so can you like talk a little bit about the business side of social media that maybe people don't have like a inside view into?
So to break it down, I mean, how content creators earn money is various ways. One is UGC.
Yeah.
So companies needing content and you kind of know your skills on the camera. You could produce content for them. You don't even post, but they use.
Yeah.
AI is doing an incredible job at this, to be honest, right now, that you can easily put a product into someone. So I'm not sure if this is a sustainable business to do that in 2 years. But I feel like building a personal brand is going to be there ever, because we will look, even with more AI videos coming, we will look out for real connections. Real world events is going to be the main thing, I think, in the future. But real content as well. People talking about real problems. And I think there will be kind of some flags where we can separate between real content and AI content, but don't want to. It's just something I think of a lot, and I talk to friends a lot about AI content and stuff, because it's becoming so good. But to the business side, so as a content creator, when you build an audience and you get reach, definitely you always have a niche, right? I mean, you have passions you talk about. For me, it's triathlon, it's cycling, it's being a dad. So I have a specific target audience. For me, it's like male, 95% actually is male. Between 25 and 45, basically. And countries vary because I do it in English, but 30% is Germany, then 50% is America, South Africa, blah, blah, coming, etc.
Yeah.
So when you're a brand, and this is your target group, like, for example, a cycling brand would be an easy example for me. And, I'm riding a bike now in every video from brand. They think of, okay, if we pay him to ride our bikes, we get 1 million impressions a month. And what would this be worth? Because we maybe not tomorrow, but when someone needs a new bike, he thinks of, oh, what is Gerrit riding? It looks cool. Maybe I'm getting this and this bike. So brands use your trust you have with the audience to kind of pay their way into the audience, and your job is to incorporate that into a way that it fits your life in the best way possible. I mean, of course, you can just try to sell it like, oh, I got this for free, and that's why I think you need it as well.
Yeah.
But in the best case, if you don't sell out yourself, you incorporate the products into your life, and that's what you get paid for. And what I do is long-term contracts. So like 1 year partnerships of things, because I don't want to wear something for a week and then, another company comes and pays better money. So I'm happy to leave some deals on the table because of opportunity costs, of course, when you're exclusive to something.
Yeah.
but that's what I stand for. The values fit, and then I do this for the year because it's harder to look past that because the company doesn't know, I don't know what's after the year. So what I do is then, for example, now I haven't talked about that on my YouTube because I don't have the bike yet, but I'm going to sign for a bike brand. So far, I always used bikes I bought for myself. And like I said, I bring it million impressions to it, and people think I ride for standard, but I don't. It's a bike I bought from a friend. And of course, I know that this is not clever from my side because I give standard free fucking branding.
Yeah.
So obviously, I was chatting to bike brands, seeing what I like, what I want to ride, what fits me. And I, for example, wanted to have a brand that also had a TT bike, so I could do triathlon. So I was chatting to a lot of brands, and it's a hard niche, to be honest. It's not a niche where it's a lot of money. A lot of bike brands are struggling. Canyon let go 20% of their stuff and stuff.
Wow.
So they don't throw around with money. So you more look at other things like values of the company, people who work there. I like to have a chill environment. I don't want to have 10 deliverables a month I need to fulfill. So I was working my way down there, taking it chill without a management. So as a content creator, you're kind of an entrepreneur. You're having negotiations, you're pitching brands, you're creating stuff. It's like it's a full thing, bro. It's not like you just put out videos and that's it. If you want to monetize it,
Yeah.
you need to be smart about it.
Yeah.
And of course, there's another way, which is doing own products, like physically or digitally. Like I could easily sell some lots and
100%, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
But it's just something I don't see myself doing right now. So or coaching, and I tried various things. I was even having some coachings. I saw like one-to-one coachings, how to get your content creation going, your YouTube.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But I figured that right now I just want to spend as little time as possible working on my YouTube,
Yeah.
because I could easily work that 20 hours a day, because there's always another reel you can shortcut, or like another video you can script and film. But I figured that right now I want to keep the balance that I'm a dad,
Yeah.
and everything else comes second. And this is like YouTube 2 to 3 hours a day,
Yeah.
and sports 2 to 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then, I don't want to do more. So I could do more, but yeah, I'm trying to mix myself, but also how to do content and earn money with it. But yeah, the easiest way is definitely build a reach in a specific niche. And then there are companies selling products in that niche, and they pay you to advertise it. And I would just suggest to not just advertise it cheap, but have a cool way to incorporate it. And there are people very good at it and people very shitty at it.
Yeah.
And I know who's going to be the ones that will be successful with it. So I think being a clever marketer is the key skill in content creation, that you don't sell, because no one wants to get sold. Watching content and when you now would advertise here on the podcast, you would also think of ways when it's the right time in the podcast to not talk about the products.
Yeah.
And not just don't care about it, throw it in and move on. So I feel like that's marketing, to create a need and then incorporate a product for a company. And that's how you can get paid. And that's actually very good. So I'm definitely going to have 6-figure revenue this year, just by the long-term partnerships I'm doing. And that's enough for me to pay the bills. I don't need to save money now, to invest money. I've been doing that before. So I have kind of my puffer now that I just want to work as little as possible to make a good living and have a happy life.
Yeah. You don't wanna replace your corporate job with those 13 hours with YouTube.
Man. That's it.
That's the
even
same
though I'm sometimes questioning if I need to squeeze a lemon now because I have momentum and things are going well.
Yeah.
But that's where the ego kicks in.
Yeah.
And I try to leave that in the bed and at home, that I'm saying, no, that's what I signed up for.
Yeah.
And my 18 years old Gerrit will be proud, me saying and doing that I'm going to watch tennis tomorrow and not telling my wife, nah, I pay the bills with this.
Yeah.
Whoa, like you can't go to tennis because I need to film a video.
Yeah.
Because it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
And like you said, you don't. What is enough? You don't need more at the moment.
And I know that. I mean, we know that with work, but when I'm at the desk pad, I'm not going to think of, I should have done more videos. But I'm going to definitely think about, I should have spent more time with my kid, with my wife, and all those things. So I think it's we can easily get caught up into that from our ego, That's why I feel like most important in whatever you do is be a mindful person, and that's just possible with meditation, with breathing, reading the right books, like The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle, all those things, to be just a happy, peaceful person, and then it's easy to follow up the right routines and the process.
Wow,
That's
dude.
cool.
Honestly, I think that was the perfect way to end this, because you probably also have quite a long drive back. We don't know.
Alright, bro.
But it was really, really nice having you on.
Yeah.
I feel like we definitely, if you're back in Cape Town, or even like if you come to Germany, whenever, we might have to have you for like a second podcast.
Yeah.
I think so much more to uncover. But we do have a little tradition in the end. We have like always a quick fire round of questions. So we would shoot some questions at you, and then you can try to answer them as fast as possible.
Oh, you know, understand. I'm a talker.
Yes, no,
My
it's
wife
great.
was like, "Do they know they have a night shift?" I'm like, "Don't tell them."
I mean,
no,
you have
it's
to still edit, dude. Yeah, so like,
I mean, I think everyone likes to talk about their life, right? It's such a nice thing. I usually one of my favorite books is, and then I'm done with it. It's like how do you call it? It's like from Dale Carnegie. It's very old.
how
It's
to
called How to Influence People and win
Oh,
friends.
that was like one of the first like
Bro,
books.
it changed my life, because how I do conversations and now build my network is so different, because I never talk. I just ask questions, and people like you because they were able to talk.
Yeah.
And that's why today I come here and I was like, I would love to ask you questions. But like, nah, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
But it's also nice because I try to be the other person all the time.
Yeah.
That I'm just here and it's about me, at least for a day.
But it's
Yeah,
beautiful
no.
to see. You're not the first one that says that. Like,
Yeah.
actually, it's nice because like you always have this sort of imposter syndrome a bit.
Yeah.
So it's also nice for us to see like how really people start opening it up and like telling their life, and actually not just the superficial thing like you see on Instagram,
Yeah.
but actually like you can dive deeper a bit now into the person.
Yeah, like we
podcast
had a guy on the podcast recently, and he's a big fitness influencer. We sat down with him, and he just talked about his life, talked about who he was, like on an emotional level. And I was like, this is not what I thought this conversation was going to be about. I thought it was going to be about like lifting weights and like fitness and business and this sort of stuff. And it was more about like how this made him feel and emotions and like all kinds of cool stuff. And we connected on like a human level, and it wasn't just like a mental level. And it was just fun. It was like, and then the next podcast that I thought was going to be a little bit more emotional was like so businessy. So it's like it always keeps it fun when people just talk about what they want to talk about.
You definitely go home and light it after the podcast. Huh?
Yeah, I know, 100%.
Okay.
All right, shoot it.
We're gonna shoot it away. Easy one for the beginning: morning run or evening run?
Evening run.
If you have to marry one, kill one, and like bench one, Ironman swim, Ironman bike, or run.
Fuck, you need to repeat that.
So like you have to marry one,
Yeah.
you have to keep one,
Yeah.
and you have to kill one.
Okay.
Ironman swim,
Kill.
bike, or bike,
Mary.
and run.
What's the run? A bench it.
Just bench it, yeah.
What
keep
is a
it.
bench?
Bench? Like basically, like you're not gonna kill it.
alright.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure every triathlete answered the same I did.
Yeah, I agree.
Nobody, yeah, we did ask that to another triathlete, and they were like, "Swim has got to go."
Yeah, of course.
Swim gotta always go.
I would flip.
If you like swimming, you're a creep.
Yeah, I agree.
Oops.
Coffee or no coffee before training?
Coffee.
Best country you ever run in?
Say South Africa.
South Africa.
Yes. There we go.
One
It's too hilly, bro.
Yeah,
Germany.
it's true.
Germany.
Germany is quite
Too flat.
No, it's very
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
fair.
no. One thing you miss about corporate life.
Structure.
I mean, YouTube or Instagram, if you could only keep one.
YouTube.
Easy. Favorite race distance?
Long distance Ironman.
Oh.
Full Ironman, yeah.
German efficiency or creative chaos?
I'm a creative chaos guy. Always been.
One piece of gear you can't train without.
Power meter.
Okay, fair point. Best thing about being a dad athlete?
Coming home and seeing your boy waiting for you.
Beautiful. And last one word that describes your current season of life.
Acceptance.
Awesome. Love that one. Before we head out, please make sure to plug yourself. Where can people find you on Instagram, YouTube, any other sources you
Yeah.
have?
My name is Gerrit Knein. That's how my YouTube channel is called as well, because I don't like to call it any other way. And on Instagram, I actually still have my name from the soccer days back then, which is GK7. It's German word for 7, and was my tricot, my jersey number back then.
Now it all makes sense.
Yeah, but like CR7, like Cristiano
Yes.
Ronaldo. So I was like, that's how I started my personal Instagram when I was doing soccer videos on the GoPro 15 years ago, like 10 years ago, not 15, but I was doing like putting up the GoPro, and then I was doing free kicks on my own. Like that's what I did. And that's when the name came up, and I didn't change it. And now I'm like, I think I shouldn't.
Keep it.
Yeah.
Keep it.
It's part of the
But,
origin story.
Yeah, but everyone would say, okay, have it straight to you in YouTube so
Yeah.
people can find you. But that's why I don't care.
Yeah.
Then don't find me. I don't care. I'm not here to make numbers. If you find me, happy. If you don't find me, I'm happy to show and tell you the name. But it's not what I'm here for, optimizing everything to the perfect way. And I'm just doing me and try to stay true to myself. So that's where you find me. No other channels planned. I don't have time for TikTok and everything else. But yeah, that's what I do, and look forward if someone wants to check out the vlogs.
Yeah.
You can do so, but you don't have to.
Awesome.
All right.
Cheers, guys. Make sure to check him out. Thanks for watching. And
Thanks for having me, guys.
it was a pleasure having
yeah,
you.
it
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on.
Awesome.
All right.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys. Bye.